Hey everyone, I'm Nico from Licks of the Beast. I hope you're all having an awesome day and thank you for tuning in to this week's video. I've been getting a lot of questions about what kind of exercises one should practice in order to achieve the skills and techniques to play Iron Maiden songs and solos. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you an approach to guitar exercises that I've been doing for a long time and that have yielded good results for me. I want to start off with a little disclaimer. What I'm going to show you in this video is one way I like to approach practicing the guitar, but it's not the only way I practice and it won't necessarily be ideal for everyone. I tend to get distracted very easily and I have a lot of difficulty focusing on a task if it doesn't hold my interest. Because of that, I could never spend very long practicing the more typical chromatic scale type finger exercises. You know, all those 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 type of things. Those are still great exercises, and I think they should definitely be part of one's practice routine, at least in some way, because there is great value in those, especially the more elaborate ones. That being said, I do think that the approach in this video is a very good way to practice if you want to maximize your time by combining musicality and technique. What I did when I was starting to really practice with the intention of becoming a better player is that I would always work on a solo that I knew I had the ability to play for the most part, and that had maybe 1 or 2 licks that I couldn't yet do. This had 2 main advantages. First of all, it motivated me to push through learning those 2 licks because I could then play the whole solo. And second, it enabled me to actually focus on one specific thing at a time without getting sidetracked or distracted. So I would always make sure to work on something that I knew was well within reach and never spend time working on things that were far beyond my current skill level. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go over 3 licks that I once struggled with, and I'm going to explain how I created my own exercises to help me reach the point where I could play them. And because these exercises are quite musical, you can use them as a base to create your own licks that you can then use in your solos. So again, this might be a bit of a different approach, but bear with me and give it a try to see if it can work for you. The first lick we're going to look at is from Adrian's solo in 2 Minutes to Midnight. When I was first learning this solo, I just didn't have the picking dexterity to execute the full lick smoothly, and I would always trip myself up. So I started playing it slowly to try and figure out exactly where the problem area was, and I realized it was this part here. That double change of picking direction, right? So I started to just play that one part, half a bar basically, repeatedly over and over. And it didn't take long before the sound of that alone started to make me crazy. So I thought, okay, what if I stretch it out somehow? Maybe multiple octaves so it's a little bit longer and in some sort of context. So I did it over 3 octaves like this. Now I had an exercise that I could work with. So let's see that one again. From there, I thought, what if I apply that idea to a blues box type of pattern? And that led to this exercise here. Which is a pretty cool lick on its own. The second lick we're going to look at is Dave's flurry of trills from his solo in The Number of the Beast. This lick is quite simple and straightforward, but executing it at speed smoothly can be quite challenging. I would always start off just fine, but it would inevitably fall apart halfway through. My first instinct was to just practice that part slowly with the intention of gradually building up speed. However, that was making my forearm and fingers feel fatigued, and by the time I would increase the speed, I didn't have any strength left to actually play it any faster. So after trying different things, I ended up with these two exercises. Here's the first one. What I like about this one is it actually mimics how Dave often accelerates halfway through these linear licks. And of course you could do this ascending as well. So let me do that first exercise a little bit slower. The second exercise helps with endurance and stamina, and it follows a pattern of a narrow interval, a second, and a wide interval, a third. Looks something like this. This one is great because it forces you to work on your trills with all four fingers, and it's a little more interesting than that 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise. Which is still a great exercise, by the way. And needless to say, you can do this on any string and in any key. The last lick we're going to look at today is again from Adrian, and this time it's from his solo in Wasted Years. I used to struggle so much with the articulation of that first part, because you have this, which for me would always turn into this. And that's because it's just natural to want to go back the way you came, right? So I started practicing this. And then I started moving it around this way. So I'm just moving diatonically on one string in the key of E minor. And that was really helpful in getting my fingers to start working independently. So from there, I started doing different patterns like this one. So you're mixing it up in the fingering, and you're also alternating between which notes you pick and which ones are hammer-ons or pull-offs. It's a simple but effective way to start working on your dexterity. So the idea with all of these exercises is to play a simplified version of the lick you're struggling with that focuses on the problem area specifically. If you can do that, it'll make your practice session more fun, more interesting, and you might come out of it with a new lick that you can then use in your own solos. That's it for this week. I hope you found this approach interesting and that maybe one or more of these exercises could be useful to you as well. Again, the idea here is to turn whichever lick you might be struggling with into an exercise to help you get over that hump. Please don't forget to leave a like and do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It helps me very much and it keeps you up to date with the latest videos. As always, thank you all so much for watching and stay tuned for more licks of the beast.